Our theme today is Made in the USA, and we've got Rocky Castillo, President of Mohawk Home, and Bart Hill, Senior Vice President of Mohawk Home. Hi, guys. And they're going to let us know what's been shaking there since the great COVID outbreak and how they're reacting.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Hello, Jennifer. Good afternoon. Thanks for having us today.
So, Rocky, the COVID pandemic has really put a spotlight on domestic manufacturing and lack thereof in some categories. How have you guys been impacted by the disruption?
Yeah, well, Jennifer, starting the middle of March, it's obviously been an unprecedented disruption. First concern was for our people, but both in the plants and our administrative areas. We took two steps, very different. Out in our manufacturing plants, we reworked a lot of work cells. We allowed people to social distance. At the time, we were even trying to get more than 6 feet apart. We did have to downsize early on through March and April when a lot of our customers were closed. We reworked a lot of those cells into new PPEs, face mask gowns, and Bart will talk more about that in a little bit. In our administrative areas, we were very quick to have people work from home, and that's worked out really well for us. We have now continued to bring some people back to the offices. I can say that just about all of our plants are back to full strength. Most of them are working overtime. So between March and April, really just a drastic shift on the downside. So happy to say that in May and now in June, we are full speed ahead, and we are so very blessed and fortunate. And that's really what speaks to what we can do, being that almost 85 to 90% of our business in certain areas, and just about across the board, it's about 85+%. We do everything here in this country. So it gives us a great deal of flexibility to react on the downside as well as the upside. And so we've been blessed all the way through this. We continue to be on guard, but as things open up, we are being as diligent as possible, and we continue to be blessed to really have one of the best workforces, which I know I'm biased, but of anywhere in the industry.
Rocky, I know Mohawk Home has been making investments in the last, not just months, last few years on capacity and equipment. Can you tell us some more about that? Absolutely,
Jennifer. Investments is really one of our strengths. It really starts with the fiber, from yarn extrusion as well as yarn conversion, and really all four fiber types. Polyester is our core fiber. We utilize a recycled content, which really separates us from our competition. We also have state-of-the-art space dyeing, which allows us to get looks and products that used to be really unheard of. Nylon continues to be a very important part of our portfolio, and we've invested in nylon extrusion as well as conversion. And then Smart Strand PTT fiber, which is unique to Mohawk here in North America, is another fiber that we continue to invest in. And then lastly, polypropylene. Have a new polypropylene with a very high UV treatment that allows us to capitalize on the outdoor products. We've invested heavily in all area rug manufacturing, tufting, high-speed tufted looms, pattern looms, or high-speed tufting machines with pattern attachments, new looms. We continue to invest in. Lastly, digital printing is really a game changer for us because it allows us to offer a great deal of SKUs and really still manage the inventory tightly. In our bath business, we've invested heavily in automatic dyeing, and in both area rugs and bath, we've invested in automatic sewing, and that's really allowed us to be very flexible through the last 90 days to where we've gone from low volumes and ramped all the way up to very high volumes, and that's been a very good get for us. In floor mats, we've invested in robotics, molding. We also just added a new line to do urethane mats Up until this time, they were primarily all imported from Asia. We now have capability here in this country. Very excited about that. Lastly, on the logistics side, we've invested very heavily to separate our distribution models. We continue to offer a world-class service to our big box partners, brick and mortar, and we have a separate distribution channel to really capitalize on drop shipping to customers' homes, one-offs. So we're really proud with all the investments that we've been able to make, and it's really allowed us to continue to do over 85% of what we do in total here in this country.
So Bart, if the COVID crisis has taught us anything, it's the importance of e-commerce. So how has Mohawk ramped up to kind of meet the increase in demand?
Obviously, e-commerce and the transition from traditional brick and mortar to e-commerce was with us long before the current COVID crisis that we're dealing with. But during this pandemic, it obviously pointed out and highlighted some things that we do think are going to be lasting in the industry. I mean, obviously for the first couple of weeks, it was a week to 10-day pause really in everything that we did back in mid-March. But the first thing that rebounded was the e-commerce side of our business. Obviously, we're living in probably the biggest social implication of our lifetimes, and when you send 300 million people home, there's a couple things that's going to happen. You're going to watch all the Netflix, you're going to go through some cookbooks, you're going to do all your kids' homeworks, and then very quickly after that, you're going to start shopping and looking at things around your house to improve upon. And that's what we really saw in our e-commerce business. It was the first thing that rebounded very early on, and then it has fulfilled actually in products that we maybe didn't have a ton of penetration before, like our bath and floor mat categories, where I actually saw upticks in those, especially in the retailers that were closed down but kept open the e-commerce side of their business. There were consumers that were shopping maybe in those categories that hadn't in the past. So we do think that while the growth was steady in e-commerce, the current situation that we're dealing with maybe step changed it to people that were traditionally not buying these current products and have now. We think that'll be long lasting in our business, and we've had to pivot very quickly. Early on in the pandemic, we were able to shift from our traditional brick and mortar business into the fulfillment side of the e-com business. And that was one thing logistically, we had to add some people to do that. So it actually showed us that the ability to pivot quickly and have the domestic manufacturing model was critical as we chased into the e-com. We do think that that'll be longer lasting even as our traditional businesses come up. So it's really been a balance for us, and how do we do that and quickly shift into both areas was a big get for us. And we do think that'll be something that we can learn from long term throughout this process.
Are you planning to make more investments in your e-commerce operations?
Yes, absolutely. There's really no discussion that Rocky and the company has towards investments that doesn't include some type of eye on the digital space or e-commerce, and that really starts throughout the entire process, from the way that we extrude yarn. Rocky mentioned the investments that we have, smaller footprints, the way that we extrude smaller batches of yarn, throughout the manufacturing process, how we have machines that are actually bigger, faster, stronger, but have quicker changeovers so that we can do smaller lot manufacturing. It's really shifted our model really in the last 10 years from doing a few things, a lot of a few things, and doing those well in a very low cost way, to doing a few of a lot of things, still in a very low cost way. So every investment that we make, we have to have our eye on that throughout the manufacturing process. Looms, tufting equipment, printing equipment, the way that we ship our products, the way that we fulfill orders. We're sitting in a state-of-the-art photo studio today. The way that we do the content, the way that we show our products on the e-commerce websites are critically important. So we continue to make investments in that vein toward equipment that can do smaller batch processes, and that will continue going forward really through the next 3 to 5 years as we continue to make critical investments of how to fulfill this shift in the retail environment.
Bart, what portion of Mohawk Home's business was done online before the pandemic, and how do you see that changing going forward?
Yes, obviously, e-commerce has been a tremendous growth sector in the entire industry. It's pretty widely associated with about 20%, 20 to 25% and growing. So 1 in 5 rugs shipped today are direct to consumer. Our business parallels that. We have a huge brick and mortar footprint, but certainly the e-commerce side of the business is the one, much like the industry, that's growing and are in those same percentages. we do think it's here to stay. Obviously, the internet's here to stay. So we're everything that we've talked about from the investment side and growing into that, really seeing an uptick in the future in things like curbside, where we actually, through the pandemic, to where you order things and pick up the way that we do our groceries today, we're actually seeing our products have almost doubled through the pandemic in the way that we do curbside pickup. Certain categories have grown 10x in the same vein. So we do think that the pandemic has pointed out that people are shifting to this channel of distribution. Our business will parallel that. We think we see tremendous growth over the next 3 to 5 years. I see a point in time where maybe half of the area rug industry can be shipped direct to consumer, and that's not a 20-year plan. That's a 3 to 5 year plan. And certainly the pandemic has pointed out that you can sell bath rugs online. You can sell floor mats online. So all the categories continue to tick up, and we think our business will parallel that in the industry going forward.
So what else is Mohawk Home working on for a consumer base that obviously has been impacted by this pandemic, and shifting some of their priorities and the kinds of things they're buying and the kinds of attributes they want in products?
Yes, Jennifer, we're still 90 days into it, so I feel like that we still have a great deal to learn. But what we know now is that we're all certainly spending much more time in our homes. That bodes well for our products, number one. But number two, people want to be safe. They want products that add value. They want to beautify their homes. And so we are really focused on an entirely new line of products, but it's all based around this new customer behavior. We do believe that the consumer wants to buy made in America products, and we want to provide those products. Today it's more about wanting to see your community get back to work. We want to have a sustainable model. And so Made in the USA, we do feel like that it's here to stay. And we know that we have to do our part in that. We have to be fashion leaders. We have to offer great values. We have to exceed customer expectations with service. And so that's the challenge that we're trying to step up to really say, hey, we can give you all that plus Made in America. And we know that it's going to be the right thing for our country, for our communities, for our people, our associates here at Mohawk Home. And so we really feel like that it's a great opportunity for us to capitalize, being really by far the largest manufacturer in this country in our sector of rugs, bath rugs, and floor mats. So we are really embracing this as a tremendous opportunity. As far as product specifics, we are really focused in antimicrobial type things that we can do in the yarn, in the backing, that really translates to sustainable products in your home. We're also doing topical treatments on floor mats and bath rugs specifically, but even a few area rugs. So a lot of things in the hopper right now from an R&D standpoint to really add attributes to our products that make the home safer, make our customers feel better about the products that they're bringing into their homes. And we're really excited about the opportunities.
Bart, Mohawk was pretty quick to step up and help out in the pandemic. I know you teamed with another local business on PPE. Can you talk about what you learned from your ability to shift that quickly, and maybe some lessons you're drawing from that experience?
Yeah, sure, Jennifer. It seems in many ways like a lifetime ago, 90 days ago in mid-March. It just seemed like there for a couple weeks it was just bad news after bad news after bad news. We were looking around at each other when things were starting to shut down. What are we going to do? How can we help, really? I mean, the spirit of Mohawk and really the whole community we knew a lot of the medical professionals around, and it was, how can we help? We had access to some fabric from a local partner, and we had access to something else. We had a great community of workers that wanted to help out. We had a way of making these isolation gowns. We had the fabric and we had the cut and sew ability through our bath operation to really turn fabric into these isolation gowns that were just short in the community. We'd seen what was happening in other parts of the world. We didn't want that to happen around here. So, mid-March, the first day, we made 10. And I thought, boy, if we can ever make 100 of these and take them to the hospital, then that'll be a good day. The next week, we made 1,000. And then really in 2 weeks, through the ingenuity and the spirit of our workforce, just wanting to help out, that can-do attitude, we were making 5,000 a week of the isolation gowns. And then we pivoted another operation, another plant, into making face shields. And really, in a 10-week period, we just finished up last week, really, because the other operations have ramped up. But in a 10-week period, we made 150,000 isolation gowns and 250,000 face shields that went to support the medical community. In the end, we were giving our know-how to make these gowns to other companies in the area, other competitors. We felt through this time, we're all on one team. We're all the same team. We're trying to fight what's out there. So we were more than happy to share, work with a lot of hospitals around. So that was really through the really negative parts of the situation, that was really a highlight for us. And really want to call out the Mohawk, so proud of our company, our associates, that just from day one was how can we help, what can we do? And really it highlights the community effort and really that good American ingenuity and that American spirit to want to help out through this thing. So really proud of all the efforts there.
Yeah, Jennifer, I'd like to add to that just quickly. To really reiterate what Bart said, our people were so engaging to want to do the PPEs, in really both in Dalton at our main plant there in Dalton, as well as Calhoun. It was unbelievable during this pandemic, early on, whenever all of us, we certainly didn't know as much 90 days ago as we know now. But literally, our people were wanting to be there, wanting to do these gowns, wanting to do these face shields. And to me, that was just a tremendous effort, and it was an outpouring that, it really set a standard that continues to this day. And as Bart said, it ended up being numbers that we never could have even imagined. And it really opened our eyes to that we had resources and we had engineers that did a phenomenal job, but more importantly, our people wanted to be there, wanted to be manning this equipment that we had to retrofit to do these things. And it was just a tremendous effort, and I'm very proud of them.
Guys, thank you so much for the insight and showing us around. We really, really appreciate it. And to our audience, thank you so much for popping in. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hope to see you soon.